Welcome to Money in Tech. It's April 15th, tax day. We've got a special guest, CEO of Libra Tax, Jake Benson. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jared.
So Jake, what's Libra?
Libra is my company, and Libra Tax is our first product. It's going to be a consumer tool that allows users to calculate their capital gains taxes on their entire transaction history in digital currencies. So that could be Bitcoin, any of the altcoins, Ripple's another one.
So what inspired you to make Libra Tax?
Well, earlier this year I was thinking ahead and wondered how I was going to file taxes on my Bitcoin trades myself. So it was a simple Google search, how do I file taxes on my Bitcoins? And I didn't find any resources out there, or very little resources, and absolutely no tools that helped me calculate what I owed to the IRS. So that was kind of a big signal to me, and I think there's a lot of opportunity out there still in this space. So that was a very big signal to me that somebody needs to go build it, and I decided to do it myself.
So you're obviously not building this by yourself. So
Right.
who are you working with on this project?
Right now, the core team is me and a lead developer. I'm the business guy, and he's doing all the code, of course. We also have a pretty solid advisory team. We've got 5 advisors, and they're made up of tax CPAs and tax lawyers, and they are really working pretty hand in hand with me on this product to make sure that when it's released, it's very solid and it does follow the IRS guidance.
So obviously taxes are due today. So is it ready?
I wish it was. We're planning on having this tool ready by September, and that's just in time for extended tax season, which extends 6 months from April 15th to October 15th. So we'll launch in September, and we are advising people to file their extensions. You still have time to file your extension today. There's a link on our website where you can do that. So file your extension. Our tool will be ready in time for October.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that Bitcoin users are facing this tax season?
Well, the biggest problem is that these transactions, a user's transaction history can be very complicated, and in order to calculate capital gains by hand or manually is very, very difficult. There certainly needs to be a very experienced CPA or a piece of software that can perform those calculations. So this tax season, I imagine every single person, unless they have a very simple transaction history, anybody that's done any number of transactions in Bitcoin is going to have a hard time.
So how exactly does a Bitcoiner use this software? Can they just upload a CSV file that they get from an exchange they trade on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's going to be several ways to upload your transaction history and even maintain your anonymity if you want to. So one option will be uploading a flat file that you can extract from any of the exchanges, and we'll do the processing on that file. We'll also allow, which is probably the easiest way, is to input your wallet addresses into our web service. We go find your transaction history, whether it's on the blockchain or one of the wallet providers, and then we do the processing on your transaction history from that source.
So what are your long-term plans for Libra? Any other services lined up?
Oh, absolutely. So capital gains taxes are kind of just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the whole regulatory and compliance issues surrounding Bitcoin. So there's also sales tax for merchants. That's another big piece of software that needs to be developed so merchants can track their sales in Bitcoin. There's nothing out there that exists for that yet. Also, enterprises are going to start paying their employees in Bitcoin. There's a few out there that already do. So payroll software for digital currencies is another big one that I think should be in our future.
So what's your interpretation of this IRS tax ruling saying that Bitcoin is property?
To be honest, I thought that was the proper ruling. I expected it. The IRS really didn't issue any new laws with this guidance. They just confirmed the bucket that digital currency falls in within existing tax law. So in fact, the guidance coming out this tax season I thought was a good thing, because if it would have taken much longer, the IRS, they're not exactly the fastest moving agency here. So the fact that we were able to know the rules of the game now rather than later, I think is a good thing. And The whole debate on whether property or currency is the correct way to tax Bitcoin, I think financially, taxing Bitcoin and digital currency as a property is the most financially beneficial way to tax it. Although a lot of people think that currency is how it should have been classified, I think that's more of a psychological classification. People would have owed more taxes, and taxes would have been more complicated if it was classified as currency.
Interesting.
So,
Do you think this ruling is going to hold up? I mean, we're seeing congressmen that are introducing bills to call it a currency.
well, this is going to hold up for a while. Once the IRS issues guidance, they stand by that for typically a very long time. So there is going to be an open discussion, and there will be senators and representatives that put bills on the table to try to change what the current ruling is. But I don't see anything changing anytime soon, honestly.
So is this only for Bitcoin, or, for example, could I use this to figure out how much capital gains I owe on my Dogecoin?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be currency agnostic. So you'll be able to use this for any of your digital currencies. And that's why I tend to use the term digital currency rather than just Bitcoin. So we're going to look at any of probably the popular ones first for this tax season, but integrating more as we go along.
Excellent.
Dogecoin's pretty popular, so I think we'll squeeze that one in there.
So why should I trust you with my tax information?
Not only is our advisory team really good, my background is in implementing payroll systems. So payroll taxes are extremely complicated, and honestly, capital gains tax is pretty simple in comparison. So this is a problem I'm pretty confident we can all solve. And not to mention all these guys on my advisory team, they've mentioned to me they were waiting for somebody to come along and build this, and they really want to be a part of it and make sure that it's a very solid system. I've got a lot of great support.
So have you just seen this army of libertarians knocking at your door trying to say, help me pay my taxes, I want to give this money to the government?
Yeah, libertarians don't want to pay their taxes. So I think that's part of the interesting thing about this community is there's very, and the original people in this community are very kind of anti-establishment. Mm-hmm. And this whole IRS ruling has really almost disheartened them. But I think it was kind of naive to expect the IRS to ignore what was happening with digital currency. I don't want anybody in the community to leave or to lose confidence in the potential of digital currency. But honestly, I think this is the way that Bitcoin and other digital currencies are going to mature, is to respect the regulatory and compliance issues. So,
thanks for coming on the show, Jake.
hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
For more information on Libra Tax, check out the show notes at moneyandtech.com.